all those roads that are just killing people. Those are not transportation. And that's one area.
Even Lagos Ibadan. Yes, Mr. Resaya, I would like to talk about mass transit. He was talking about there's no point building an estate and there is no thought about how the people who are going to live in that estate are going to access transportation to their places of work. Because the most important part of their life is the work that they do to earn money to live. To your mind, do you think that we're doing enough in the area of moving people? And I mean in the area of mass transportation. Keke can move 3 people. Okada can move 1 person. Well, according to the law. Then Danfo's maybe 12, 13 people. What are we still doing with those modes of transportation in 2016?
Well, thank you very much. If you look back and you look at the Lagos experiment, all right, I think Lagos started this mass transit program, and I think is working very well. If you look at the BRT it's a mass transportation system, and if you look at the rail lines that the Lagos State government started, you know, these are infrastructures that are coming in place to facilitate mass movement. And when you talk about sustainability in transportation especially, sustainability is all about evolving a strategy for human development that will not impair future developments, all right, and vis-a-vis depleting natural resource and or hampering personal development and the community development. And when you look at the rate at which you consume fuel, for individual transportation, fuel consumption is lower when you do mass transport. You know, you consume less fuel, and that means that the rate of pollution is reduced, and you are not. And that is where I think if Lagos can, they can take the air level in Lagos, I'm sure we'll have a more tolerable level right now, because you're gradually seeing less vehicles, individual cars, going on the road because of the BRT. The new buses are now introduced. They look better and they look good, and Lagos is improving on the BRT process every day.
We hear they're a bit expensive though.
Well, we have to start. The first shoe is the most expensive to make over time, but you have to compare that with putting fuel in your cars. I think the new fuel price right now is making most people to now patronize the BRT.
Yes.
Are you getting me? So you can see that all of a sudden within the last 1 month, the traffic is reducing in Lagos. Okay, go around. The movement of cars is reducing. You just find out you're able to move freely because more people are now dropping their cars and going on the BRT. More people are now going on the ferry line. People from Ikorodu, Ibeshi, everywhere there, they go on the ferry. So necessity will compel us to do the right thing. And I think it's better we do it. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and I was trying an idea about how we can make even transportation be sustainable more in Lagos. And I gave him a teaser on making, if you use your car in Lagos and you are just an individual in a car, you should pay higher tax. All right, so we should start sharing our cars with people. So you should
on certain lanes,
between certain periods. I mean, rush hour, maybe Mondays to Fridays, between the hours of, let's say, 7 and 6 in the evening. If you're going to pull your car on the road, you should have a rest sticker that shows it can only be you or your chauffeur in the car, and you pay, like, put a tax on it, 100,000. All right, so for you to have, to have an exclusive use, it's possible. Are you getting me? Just an X amount anyway. Don't let me put the 100,000. All right, but if you have a car and you must be on the road at that time on certain road, you can have about 3 or 4 people. There's nothing wrong with sharing facility. Most of all, you find out we are going to the same office around the same area, and almost 4 of us we are driving their individual cars to that place. Why can't we share cars? And we need to have indigenous ideas and solve our problem. We may not have the congestion tax like you have in UK, but we can have this is a shared facility kind of regulations that make sure that between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, if your car must be on certain roads, you must be 3 or 4 of you in the car. Otherwise, they'll pull you up and ask to pay certain fine. All right. It will reduce the number of cars on the road, and I think it's a sustainable approach. You reduce the kind of the level of emission on the road. All right, and you reduce the number of cars on the road, and you compel us to come together and share things. You know, why should I drive my car alone and your wife will drive a car alone, and where you are going is almost around the same area? Why should we do that? We should come up with ideas that can make transportation a mode of a movement to be a sustainable approach.
Okay, Mr. Okpeifa, when you talked about transportation, you talked about it must be sustainable, safe, affordable. There are some other points you laid out, but let's look at it holistically across the country. The system has failed, as someone said to me before we came into the studio. He said the transportation system has failed, if there was any. But how can we do that? Looking at land, cars, rail, mass buses, water. I mean, from between some locations, it will take you an average of an hour, 45 minutes to 2 hours to go from Uyo in Akwa Ibom to Calabar in Cross River. But by boat, it will take you like 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Speedboat.
By speedboat.
Not sustainable.
Not sustainable? Okay.
Not sustainable.
Speedboat.
No.
Okay, but that's water. I'm just saying that the use of the waterways, these are waterways, and then air. But the one that is common, that can easily be handled, water and land. How can we make that holistically possible in the country?
I'm going to go back to my definition. You see, we keep having the wrong perspective of transportation when we just think it's about moving people, it's about the management of it.
Okay. Mr. Okpeifa, sorry, we'll need to take a very quick break. We'll come back so that you take up that question. We'll be back in a moment. Please don't go away.
A plain canvas, a bare stage, a melody in the heart, a spring in a step, a pile of clay, scraps, even trash. Then a brainwave inspires something awesome. Fit the puzzle on Art House, only on Channels Television.
Welcome back. So we're still discussing the transportation system in Nigeria. Mr. Okpeifa, we're going to look at...
what I'm saying is that as long as we look transportation from the basis of moving people from one point to the other, we won't get it right. We must take it from the point of spatial management, of mobility, of factors of mobility linked to production. And you must now bring in sustainable development, because transportation is now determining where people live. It's determining where industries are sited. It's determining where it becomes a slum. Go and look at Lekki Phase 1. It's gradually becoming a slum. Just because the resident association introduced an unsustainable transportation system, Okada, Marwa, and Danfoss. Now, transportation is also what is now determining, is going to be a key factor in reducing poverty and hunger. Now let's come back to Nigeria. We have changed over time. It's improving. If you go to Abuja, you come to Lagos, you see what transportation is supposed to be and what transportation should not be based on development of the transport system in Lagos and Abuja. Abuja has mass transit system. Lagos has an effective mass transit system. Now in 2014 or 15, there was a document approved by the government